respectability. The milkman, the paperboy, evening TV. Everywhere you look, there's a heart, a hand to hold on to. Everywhere you look, there's a face of somebody who needs you. Everywhere you look, when you're lost out there and you're all alone, life is waiting to carry you home. Everywhere you look, everywhere you look.
Okay, come on guys, dinner time. Let's all go. Sit down. So how was your school day?
It was good. We saw a video about climate change.
They're brainwashing you.
What was in the video?
It was an orangutan. It was cool.
Alright, let me see this video. I want to see what this climate change fuss is about.
Back in my day, we didn't have those darn telephone devices.
Okay, boomer.
You lousy little shits!
Anyways, let's see this video.
This is garbage. Give me your phone. This is nonsense.
No!
Alright, where's my belt?
That bastard, I knew I taught him well. Don't trust those cricket scientists. Climate change is not real. It was cold this morning.
It's the middle of winter. Climate change is real.
No, it's not. End of discussion.
Newsflash, this isn't how we actually feel. Going into the topic about winter and weather in general, it's different in different regions, as you all know, and I'll be focusing in on tropical urban areas. And now, just because there's a clip of kangaroos hopping in snow, doesn't mean that climate change isn't real.
Also, an Australian man, look at this, witnessed an unusual sight while traveling in rural New South Wales. That is a group of kangaroos, and they're just bounding through the snow there. Stephen Grenfell captured this video, posted it to Twitter with the caption, "Not something you see every day in Australia."
So climate change can manifest in several ways, one of which being the increasing of burning periods. And as you all know recently, these past couple years, the burning periods, aka wildfires, in certain areas around the world have started to increase in severity and duration. Focusing in on a specific region, southeastern Australia. Let me draw it. Southeastern Australia is a fire-prone area, and it's very common for certain regions to do prescribed burning, focusing on this region. And it's done intentionally for the purposes of forest management or to restore health to ecosystems. And it's done by a team of fire experts under specific weather conditions. A wide range of factors go into prescribed burning. There was a study conducted that gathered data about these burning days that occurred. After the collection of this data, they did a simulation that showed the burning patterns in days in Southeast Australia. And over the next 20 years, that showed a consistent annual increase of burning days compared to the areas for current burning periods. Girls, you're upsetting your father. Let's change the subject. You guys know how he gets when we talk about politics.
It's not politics, it's science.
Listen up, I don't want this kind of attitude coming from you. In this household, we are respectful to one another.
But climate change is real. According to Fleischman, in 100 years, the average temperature will increase by 2 to 9 degrees.
Flesh what? Did you know that according to Panwar, in the span of 40 years, the average global temperature increased about almost 1 degree Fahrenheit? The projection for the next 100 years is supposed to be from 2 to 9 degrees. Temperature changes have impacts on almost everything in the world, like to the sea life. Also, it affects the ocean itself. What I'm going to do is I'm going to draw the average sea level, right? This is just like normal, right? But if you add 1 degree Fahrenheit to this, the sea level increases by almost 4 feet. Okay, so Miami and Venice are actually very close to zero. All right, so Miami is only 6 inches above sea level, while Venice is only 3 inches. And this is a big problem because that 1 degree difference over 40 years caused a 4-foot increase. So you can easily see that over the next maybe 80 years, Miami and Venice will both be underwater. Comparing these two cities to like Los Angeles has an elevation of 250 inches instead of the 6 inches for Miami, and Venice is only 3 inches. So Miami is like a series of little islands grouped up, all connected by highways right here. Just like a giant road, and then there's like a giant island over here. And so basically if the ocean levels were to increase, you would get like over this amount in a span of like maybe 20 years, and this entire thing will be gone over 40 years. And then like that outer ring applies to all of these different islands. And these areas, once the ocean starts to like encroach on the actual land, sea life would actually start to come up onto the land because their habitats are on land, or like on the coast, like right on the coast, because that's where they thrive. So where they used to live now practically becomes the ocean, and they have to move up inland even more, giving them more land to live in.
So what? It's literally only a couple of degrees. The weather fluctuates every day.
My mom is so wrong. I can't believe she doesn't realize that climate is weather measured over time. It's about the bigger picture. Speaking of the bigger picture, I hope she realizes our climate change affects everyone, everywhere, in some way. The way that it affects places and people are different, and some more than others. Urban areas occupy less than 2% of the Earth's land surface, but house over 50% of the world's population. Climate change will affect the performance of buildings, urban areas, and the comfort and health of all the city's occupants. According to many notable sources, in 2030, the forest will increase slightly but decrease later because of climate change, while the growth of urbanization is also causing rural land to decrease. So just because you don't see a major noticeable change right in front of you, doesn't mean we don't have climate change. That's my thing.
Because it will increase evaporation, which leads to more water in the atmosphere, and because I know you don't understand what that means, let me just clarify that it's bad.
That's all, period.
I can't believe people like my parents don't think climate change exists. I mean, God, can't they see what's happening all around us? That statistic I said at dinner was true. I mean, do they not understand that with rising temperatures comes increased dryness in some ecosystems? I mean, this could lead to wildfires, the likes of which we've seen in Australia, and that completely destroyed ecosystems there. The areas affected by fire also have their soil affected, making it harder for plant life to grow. The dryness also affects soil because with less water, it makes it more difficult for plants to grow. However, it's not just increased temperatures that will hurt ecosystems, but also unpredictable weather. With ecosystems being used to a seasonal pattern of weather, unpredictable cold or warm fronts can hurt plant and animal life. Also, unpredictable rainfall can change the type of nutrients in soil, therefore changing the types of plants that would live in that ecosystem. Animals are reliant on the weather of an ecosystem to survive. So far, many species have been able to adapt to the change in their ecosystem due to climate change. However, at the rate climate change is affecting our planet, it is uncertain if animals will be able to evolve fast enough. This results in changes in the animal population and birth rate. An example of a species not adapting fast enough is amphibians. These animals' immune systems are sensitive to warm temperatures. An increase in temperature for them would mean sickness and then death. But some animals will be able to adapt, however their ecosystems will be destroyed. An example is shorebirds. Their coastal habitat will most certainly be destroyed by rising seawater levels, meaning that they'll have nowhere else to go and encroach on other ecosystems. Another part of ecosystems are plants. Human actions have led to climate change. Deforestation and overgrazing of land has completely wiped out countless ecosystems. However, like animals, plants are able to fight to survive. In wildfire cases, certain types of plants are able to bury their seeds or survive from underground roots. If plants can learn to adapt like this, they may be able to survive climate change. I mentioned unpredictable weather before, and this is especially important when it comes to plants. Their destructive power can completely kill plants in certain ecosystems. Warmer weather may allow them to bloom, but then when harsher weather comes along, it'll completely wipe them out.
Seriously, what a day for that one. Man, nobody ever listens to me. There are many things that affect how someone perceives climate change. Many of these are external factors that are results of climate change itself, and they're largely debated upon amongst people. Two of the largest parties that talk about this are Democratic and Republican parties. 71% of the liberal side believe that global warming's occurring, and this is dragged down by 47%, which are conservative Americans. Additionally, 49% of liberal Americans that is believe that it's caused by humans. On the flip side, 26 are on the conservative side, believing that it's not caused by humans. Now, as such, climate change has a massive effect on voting. Nearly, I think, 4 out of 10 registered voters say that a candidate's, like, their stance on climate change has a high level of impact on deciding who they're going to vote for the upcoming election. Additionally, out of 26 issues that were asked about, global warming was ranked the 15th most important on all the issues for registered voters. However, it was the 4th most important for liberal Democrats. Now, climate change, the effects of it, they span wide, and things like skiing and snowboarding. Wildfires are going to decrease how many people can go like on hikes or parks and such. So this causes a lot of discourse between both parties, and they further separate them. Global warming, it actually even affects people's decisions in donating and like how they go about that. About a third of registered voters say that if they were asked by someone they like, they would donate money to an organization working on global warming, and contact an official about global warming or volunteer for an organization. That was about like 33%. And meeting with an elected official would be like 32% of people would do that.